And today is the day you may know that we celebrate the coming of the Magi. And yet, unfortunately, from here on out, January 6th is also going to be remembered as Insurrection Day, as the day that a violent mob attacked the Capitol. And I'm a little afraid that that may overshadow Epiphany, and that would be just a terrible thing. And yet, the more I consider it, the more appropriate it is, in an odd kind of way, that the day that this terrible event happened in American history is also the day that we celebrate the coming of the Magi. They inadvertently spark a Herod's violent uprising, if you will.
Hey, I'm Johnny. I use he, him pronouns, and I want to share a message with you that I hope encourages you. The people that waged this insurrection wanted a white nationalist United States, one where racist politics are part of the political discourse.
Roman soldiers, when they put on their armor, the power of Rome was present. I thought of this on the first anniversary of the insurrection last week, and how many touted their power on that fateful day, their weapons and their riot gear, screaming, "We are the power."
First, you have a manipulative, megalomaniacal leader who is authoritarian in the extreme and who is starting to lose control. Add to that rumors and conspiracy theories, whispers of rebellion in the wind, of insurrection. There is no room for anything but politics in this toxic stew of rage, fear, and lies. What else could this day possibly be about? This is what Herod is thinking.
The one-year anniversary of January 6th insurrection, the intentional coup to take down our country's democracy. Jesus was killed by the same wicked coup of his people who did not want true human freedom or true spiritual freedom.
The Epiphany that we experienced on January 6th was a realization of the extent of the rage, the hatred, and disdain for our democracy that exists in our country, a challenge and a threat that continues today.
What happened on January 6th was armed nationalism, armed white Christian nationalism. And shall the son of peace, and this language is patriarchal, it's masculine, I apologize for that. Shall the son or daughter of peace take part in the battle when it does not become him or her, even to sue at law?
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless us all, those that are still reeling from the effects of insurrection. May those who still fear, who wake in the night in terror, who recoil at the memory, find a new narrative for what that day means to them and to us.
Trump is actually the culmination of decisions made in the 70s to say we're going to prey on white Christian angst, and by prey, P-R-E-Y. Ronald Reagan, anti-abortionism, all of those things. January 6th is the culmination of all of that by very cynical decisions made by a political party to say this is how we're going to manipulate Christians to help keep us in power.
Since 1965, the posture of white evangelical Americans has basically been anti-democratic. The moment voting was opened up to all men, all women of any color in this country, the Christian right has been opposed to what the country might become if those people are actually given power and authority.
One of the most disturbing images of January 6th, for me, were the flags that said Jesus saves in the hands of the same people that were saying hang Mike Pence. But if you have an angry, punitive God that's somehow part of your sense of what God is all about, then you're able to justify that sort of righteous, you say, anger toward others. But if our God is a judgmental God, then it also gives us credence to be able to say, if we are part of the righteous group, then we can cast judgment upon others who are outside of the community.
Purity, whether it's in sexuality or in politics, is a totalitarian agenda. It shapes worlds. It creates a legitimation structure for doing anything to the other.
Jeff, you use the image of purity culture. And I think that same mechanism is being exercised around politics. Once what your piety looks like is that you're on crusade for purity, then what it means to be faithful takes the crusade form. The two big gatherings that set up for January 6th were Jericho marches. You know how we should figure out how to engage as citizens in a democratic experiment is to pick the narrative in Scripture where you show up, trust the Lord, so that all defenses come down, and then you pillage, rape, and destroy all your opponents. And then we're going to be dumbfounded when a whole bunch of people that heard that story growing up in a purity culture of Christian white nationalism think that when Trump says, like, we're going to the Capitol, you're literally picking breaking the narrative where the people of God, they see their identity as the people of God as the executor of the other.
And God, we remember the anniversary of the insurrection at our Capitol building a year ago. We feel anger, we hide shame, we throw our hands up not sure what to do, yet in our humility point us on a path of democracy.
Since last year's January 6th insurrection, 19 states have passed 34 laws to make it that much more difficult for our community to be able to cast their votes. I want those of you that can and will, I want you this week to call your representatives at 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121, and urge them to support and to stand by voting rights in this nation so that America can actually be the land of the free and the home of the brave.